Duke Vengeance. Graham is never late, nor is he early. He starts his live cast precisely when he means to. Hello and welcome to Hughes at 10. I'm the Hughes. This is the 10. It's 10 past 10. There you go. You get a double 10. All good. And it's probably about 10 seconds past 10 minutes past 10. So it is Sunday, the 5th of September, 2021. And so far this weekend, rather a bit bad news with one of the girls from Girls Aloud passing away at the age of 39 from cancer, which is awful. But what's even, marginally more awful in the greater scheme of things is over 100 people have died every day this week from COVID-19. That thing that we thought we'd seen the back of. We have not seen the back of it. We're barely registering the front of it. But first of all, before we dive into all that, I will say hello to everybody. We've got Pineapple Boy who's talking Russian at me. We've got Restream Bot saying, it's Eleanor O'Brien saying, yeah, it's almost Graham Hughes time. Yeah, Graham Hughes time, 10 minutes late. It's amazing. It's actually amazing that I got around the world to every country without flying, considering my tardiness in starting these shows. But generally speaking, just a technical thing. I start the show at 10. I might not actually have everything set up, ready to go at 10. And also, as you saw when I came on, this refreshed. But I don't like that. I don't like this big gap here of no messages. So I kind of let it build up. I do let it build up until someone gets, a bit Duke Vengeance on me. It's like, Graham is late. I'm not standing for this tomfoolery anymore. And then I think, okay, go. ABBA gives me a rash and a headache and a bad stomach, says Jordan Jolly Fingers. Well, that is pretty bad. Maybe you're allergic. Maybe you're allergic to ABBA. John Barleycorn, the reports of complaints about ABBA rehearsing for the comeback tour. Apparently the volume is way too loud. You can hear the drums from Nando's. That's great. I'm going to steal that and use it. Hello, Graham. Hi, everyone. We got Duke Vengeance saying, hello, speak up. It's hard to hear from this top of the castle I've built. Hello down there. Hello, Duke, from the top of the castle. Are you playing Minecraft? Jeremy says, good evening and a firm handshake to all. Not for me. Thank you very much, Jeremy, because last week when I was in Liverpool, one of my mates gave me a backseat on his bike and he couldn't like keep me on the back. So basically I took over and said, this is how you ride a bike. And then I fell off and I've really smacked my hand. As I found out today when I was doing some work in the garden, I'm still not quite right. So I've had an ice pack on it this evening. The worry is that in less than a week, I've got to start doing some serious manual labor in the tropical jungle of Ginger Island in Bocas del Toro, Panama. So, yes, I hope Marcus isn't watching. If he is, hi, Marcus. Anyway, so, Jordan Jolly Fingers. I grew up in the 70s, 80s with little sister. I can't accept any volume of ABBA since then. Wow, that's harsh. That's harsh on ABBA. Jordan, try listen to Dimash. He's a whole new level of singing. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I still listen to ABBA today. Jordan Jolly Fingers, by German standards, this is about me being late, about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. Woof. Double 10, but only one Hughes. Hey. No, do pay attention, 00 Hughes. Recently says, you've got one of the best YouTube channels, by the way. Oh, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Thank you. Risley. Jordan says, oh, yeah, I've said that one. David says, hello, my lovely Ginger. Hello. We're going to Ginger Island. Excited about the adventure. Oh, a member of Girls Aloud died. Yeah, it's pretty sad. I've got a bit of trepidation about this. There's a lot of more layers of bureaucracy and things that can possibly go wrong. Like, if I get COVID this week, then the whole thing's off. Do you know what I mean? I can't travel. So I've got to rely on the COVID test that I'm taking on Thursday to come up negative. If it comes up positive, or if it comes up positive for Marcus, then we're well and truly stuffed. And we'll have to think of a workaround for it. And there's a load of other things that could possibly go wrong as well. So, I think trepidation is the best word for how I'm feeling at the moment. A sense of trepidation rather than excitement. As I would normally feel a surge of excitement. I'll tell you what, though. I've got to be at Manchester Airport at like 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday. I think that's when it's going to hit me that I'm actually setting off on a big adventure. You know when you get up dead early I'm going to have to get up at 3, aren't I? Because I got to get over from Liverpool. When you get up that early in the morning and you kind of get that sick feeling, do you know what I mean? Where you're just woken up way too early and you go out in the streets, it's still dark and there's no one there. That always feels to me like the beginning of a great adventure. You know, you're starting off and it always seems to be before daybreak for whatever reason. But yeah, that's when the blood really gets flowing for me, to be honest with you. Veg pie! Oh, wow. For you, Graham, I can't get the slides to go to £10. Oh, thank you very much for my £9 veg pie. I really appreciate it. I will put it towards the solar panels on Ginger Island. Unfortunately, Tom, the guy who normally supplies the solar panels in Bocas, is in the US at the moment and will be until December. So he can't supply the solar panels. He's actually got solar panels for us. No, I mean, you know, I haven't put them aside or nothing, but like he's got them in his warehouse, but it's locked up and we won't be able to access them while we're there. So we're going to have to find some other source of solar panelage. But don't worry, there's loads of hardware stores and they do sell solar panels. So and the good thing is that Marcus really knows his stuff when it comes to the solar panels. I don't know what I'm doing. Touch wood for Ginger. Marcus has lots of wood to touch. Hey, touch wood. Let's hope it all works out. Then again, you know, like before I set off on my journey to every country in the world without flying, there was a shit ton of things that could have gone wrong in the lead up. And the mad thing is I only knew that I was actually going on the adventure 3 weeks before I left. I had 3 weeks to sell everything I owned, basically to help pay for the adventure, to check out the flat that I was living in Orwell Park at the time, to wind up my business in Liverpool, just basically put everything on my life in storage. I had 3 weeks of that over Christmas, so the Christmas period. And I just remember so I had all my kit set up and everything. And on Christmas Day, I was showing a member of my family the camera that I was taking with me on my journey to every country in the world. And it was a Sony A1, HVR A1, which is it's a HDV camera. So basically it filmed in this kind of half HD. It wasn't quite HD. It was 1080 lines, but the pixels on the horizontal, it was only for 1440 rather than 1920. They actually stretched the pixel. So each pixel, instead of being 1:1, was 1:1.3. Anyway, you don't care about that, but you know, it was interesting at the time. It was in the very early days of high definition and it was still recording on tapes. And on Christmas Day, my camcorder that I planned to take around the world, me to every country in the world and document my journey, Only done it, clapped out. And it meant that just a couple of days before the journey was meant to start, I was flying out from Heathrow in London, drove down to London. I think I put one of my friends on the insurance so they could drive my car back from London because I just abandoned my car in London. But I had to go to Tottenham Court Road and buy myself a new camera before I left and put the other one in for repair. And it was like the shop closed at 7, trying to get into central London. I think at the time, I don't know the congestion charge. Yeah, there would have been a congestion charge then, but it ran out, I think, at 6 o'clock. So I sort of had to have this sweet spot where I could actually drive to Tottenham Court Road, park up, run into the shop, go, give me a camera. This is the one. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you. Before the place closed. And if I missed that opportunity, then I wouldn't have been able to take a camera or the camera that I wanted to take with me around the world. So yeah, compared with that, this should be a doddle. It's only... famous last words. It's only 6 weeks. It's not 4 years. Although, when I set off on my journey to every country in the world without flying, I did only think it would take a year. So yeah, a bit late there. 3 years. More than 10 minutes. But hey, look, don't blame me. No one had done it before. No one knew how hard it was going to be. And I think I did pretty well, considering all things considered. All right, okay, so back to the chat. Bloody Tea Leaf says, Duke Vengeance. He's calling me a thief there. Hello, Graham. Hope you're well. You must be happy that you're leaving a Brexit and insular Britain behind. Tacky, yeah. I am glad to be getting out of this place, as in the UK, for a few weeks. I'm happy to be getting out the country just in general because I've got a bit of cabin fever over the last 18 months or so of just literally being stuck in the house most of the time. obviously Catherine's been working from home, so it's not like we've been even going out to Durham city centre or anything each day. So this is the longest I can recall since I was a kid when I haven't been travelling anywhere. I haven't been anywhere abroad. I haven't been to the cinema. The last movie I went to see was Onward, which came out in March 2020. The last gig I went to was TerrorVision in 1994. No, TerrorVision in February of 2020. It was at the end of February. My mate got us in because I think he knew the support band or something. I don't know, but they were playing in Liverpool, and just for old time's sake, we went to go and see TerrorVision. Great band from the 90s, but underrated. A bit like Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine. They were very, very good, but they were never appreciated for how good they actually were. So yeah, that's. It's the longest I've gone without a gig. It's the longest I've gone without going to the cinema. It's the longest I've gone without leaving the country since I've been an adult. I mean, actually, no, since before then, probably since I've been about 13, 14 years old. So, that's good. That's good. However, I am leaving behind my partner, my stepkids, my mum, my dad, my brothers, my friends in Liverpool and here in Durham as well. And that's going to be tough. My dad's, as many of you know, isn't well, and so leaving is a bit dicey in terms of if his condition, touch wood, this doesn't happen, but if his condition goes suddenly downhill, I will have to either work something out with Marcus where I'll leave him on the island, so keep going, I'll be back in a couple of weeks, and just have to jump on the next flight, or he'll have to come back with me. So we might have to cut it short, depending on what happens. Again, it's one of these things. I can wait for the next few years to see, when we'll be safe to go abroad. And Costa Rica and Panama are still on the red list for the United Kingdom. I have had both my COVID jabs. I am fully vaccinated. I don't know. I felt like this was something I wanted to do a year ago, when it looked like after the end of the summer. Remember the end of the summer last year where the COVID rates were going down and it all looked good, and then suddenly halfway through September everything went to shit and everyone's like, oh my god, we've got to lock down again. But because our governments are so incompetent and completely fucking useless, we didn't actually lock down for another month and a half after the not an independent stage, but actually Sage, the people advising the government said we need another lockdown. It wasn't until November that came in. People forget this because it's all kind of mushed into one big horrible experience. But I thought when I was sort of booking this, I thought, bloody hell, what if we're still in the shit by September? And in some ways we are. And all I can do is I've been taking every precaution. I still wear a mask when I go to the supermarket. I don't give a fuck what the government's advice is on, do what you like. Hey, everyone, be a libertarian. I'm not a libertarian, because libertarians are fucking fascists. Okay. Rich fascists. That's all they are. Rich people who don't want to pay tax. That's a libertarian. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Don't let them make out like, oh, they've got this, these individualists, because as well as I do, if their life turned upside down, they'll be the first in the line for universal credit, the dole, for getting free healthcare, getting free education, whatever the fuck they needed. I noticed today on a repost from Julian Morn that David Frost, Lord David Frost, of Brexit negotiating badly fame, has on his Twitter profile, you don't get something for nothing. This is a guy who went to a private school and he got a scholarship for it, even though his parents were well-off middle-class people. He did not grow up on a council estate. Put it that way. Okay. Anyway, not you, Graham, the light-fingered one in the chat. Who's been stealing things? Tottenham Court Road is nothing like what it was. Most of the electronic stores have gone now. Probably a good thing, John, because some of them were just black. Some of them would just give you a camera case and it would have like a brick in, or like a half brick in it to give it some weight. And they go, here you go. You walk out with this. The internet's just destroyed that, hasn't it? I mean, did you see today? I think it was like, was it 10 a day? Was it 10? high street stores a day. I think it was 10. It might be more. Have closed down in the last year. It was just like a ridiculous number of shops on the high street all around the country. We really are transitioning from this situation where you've got stuff that you might want instantly, so you can go and pick it up, but it's in a city centre. You've got to pay £5 an hour to park your car. Isn't this mad? Like, £5 an hour to park your car. You know, like you're paying that much to put your car in a slot, and like people don't want to pay people that much for doing a job. And I always say, you know, I do mention this a lot because I talk about universal basic income, which I really agree with. And the older I've got, the more I agree with it. And I, like many of you, perhaps at first, just thought that's silly, that could never work. And the more I looked at it from every angle, I went, actually, first of all, it could work. And secondly, it would change everything. It would absolutely change everything. But yeah, this mad thing where you do your own dishes, that's not a job. But if you do your neighbour's dishes, that's a job. You look after your kids, that's not a job. But you look after your neighbour's kids, that's a job. You're babysitting, you get paid for that. That's okay. Dog walking, people get paid for walking other people's dogs. When you do it, it's not a job. When somebody else does it, it's a job. Step back for a moment. Just step back. Just think about how mad that is. Think about explaining that to people in the future when universal basic income is a thing. Like, you know, back in the day, people didn't consider these things as a job, but they simultaneously considered these things a job if you did it for somebody else. And it's like, what? No. We have universal basic income. Yeah. Walking your dog, that's now your job if you want it to be. If you just want to sit around all day playing PlayStation, that can be your job. If you want to do your dishes, that's your job. If you want to give your kids all the love and attention in the world, that's now your job. You're actually getting money in. If you want a job on top of that, great. You can have that. You start paying tax on the first dollar. That's okay. That's fine. The first dollar you earn, first pound you earn, first euro you earn. But this idea that like this thing that you can do is a job, but this thing, which is exactly the same thing, isn't, is just bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. But yeah. Okay, so back into the chat, because I'm going off my tangents, aren't I? That's why I left America for a month. Can't live there for 12 months straight. It drove me crazy. Fair enough. Alexis says, Lang me yum reek. Thank you, Alexis. Super chat there for 2 good English pounds, or 2 bad English pounds. I don't care. This is from R.S. Lee saying about America driving crazy. Too much idiocracy going on in that place. Well, we're seeing this in Florida right now. So if anyone's watching this across the pond, please do something for me. They have changed the law in Texas now, which means that anyone, as far as I am aware, anyone can sue anyone, and accuse them of facilitating an abortion. And they can sue anyone in America, not just in Texas. They can sue them in Texas, but it can be anyone from America suing anyone from Texas. And the person who's getting sued doesn't get their money back. Okay? So after they proved that they're innocent and they had nothing to do with this abortion, that may or may not have even fucking happened. So guys, Americans, please make a big list of all the fuckers in your life who you hate, starting at Donald Trump and Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani, and just work your way down the list of those utter fuckbags and sue every single one of them. Sue them, America, sue them. That's what you've got to do. Say they facilitated an abortion. You don't need to prove shit. It's a civil case. It's not a criminal court. You're not going to be wasting police time. You will be wasting court time, but, you know, they will have to pay. They will have to pay to defend themselves. Bankrupt the motherfuckers. Okay? America, are you listening? Bankrupt them now, today. Start your list, and then instruct your lawyer or whatever you've got over there to sue every single one of them for facilitating abortions. Do it. Do it now. Because if you wait one more second, those fuckers are going to do it to you. Do it to people that you don't like. Do it to someone who's a bit rude to you on Facebook. Do it to the person who was rude to you in the supermarket. Do it to someone who bumped into your car the other day. Just do it. Just do it. Why not? Why not? Just sue everyone. Because the law is going to get to a point where it goes insane very, very quickly. Well, you may as well get quids in before that happens. Just make the accusation. Don't turn up in court. Don't spend any money on it. It will be them having to show that they didn't do it. And that's on them, and they have to pay for it, and they can't recoup the costs. So do it. Marza Jeddah Burnside. Evening, Graham. Hello, Marza. When you fly back to England, will you have to quarantine in a hotel, or you're flying to an amber country first for 10 days? My best friend lives in Panama City, so I'm curious. So, Marza, what we're planning to do is, if Panama and Costa Rica are still on the red list, I'm flying via France anyway, so I'll get off the flight, because I've only got hand luggage, so it doesn't matter. I'll get off the flight in Charles de Gaulle, and I'll either spend 10 days roaming the streets as a vagrant, common vagrant, or I'll spend 10 days isolating on Marcus's farm if he hasn't killed me by then. So that's the plan, and then after those 10 days are up, I'll be coming from a green country into the UK. I'm not swinging the lead here. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't go to Panama. I'm not going to come straight back to the UK from France and say, oh, I only came back from France, like what the Prime Minister's father, the wife beater, Stanley Johnson, the man who beat his wife so much she ended up in hospital on at least one occasion that we know. But let's put him on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, shall we? Anyway, celebrity wife beater who went to a third country before he came back to the UK because he didn't want to do what the common plebs have to do, isolating things. Oh, what a twat. So in America, a few... I've lost the bloody thing now. Why does it move when people leave new messages? COVID spammer alert. Can someone get onto that? One of my people get onto that. COVID is a lab leak genetically made. Well, we don't know that. Telltale time for libertarians to their attitude to immigration. Their free and easy attitude goes out the window. Well, yeah. What about their attitude towards someone coming along and murdering them and taking their house? How do they feel about that? Do they want a police force to stop that from happening? Or do they want it to just be like the fucking purge? I'm pretty sure they want a fucking police force to stop that from happening. And if someone does try it, someone to arrest these bastards, to throw them in jail, to put them on trial and send them to prison, that would be good. That would be a good thing to have set up, wouldn't it? Through your taxes, which is the judicial system, which is paid for by taxes. Because you've got to pay for this stuff. And although I will admit, over the last couple of years, my enthusiasm for paying my fair share of tax has sadly diminished. Not just because my income has also massively diminished, but also because the government have spent a shitload of money on a load of fucking bollocks. They spent money on giving it to their mates. Give it to their mates because, we'll get away with it. When they get told off by themselves, they have a report. They have a report that they make themselves. And it says, you've been very naughty. And then they bury the report that they made themselves. Jesus. It was almost 50 shops a day, says John Barleycorn. Wow. Roger says, it's weird how many libertarians are also racist. It's not really, though, is it? My BF grandma just got COVID. She refused to get vaccinated because she believed she was protected by Jesus. Worse, her doctor works at the hospital. Yet she wouldn't take the vaccine. Oh, God. Oh, my God. It's the anti-vaxxers. In America, it's taken on this huge political dimension that it hasn't so much in the UK. I know you got wankers like Lawrence Fox who are telling people not to get vaccinated and saying, oh, yeah, he's lying. He's putting out fucking lies on the TV and on Twitter saying that the vaccines that we haven't gone through stage 3 testing. They fucking have. Because if they hadn't done that, they wouldn't have got through. In fact, there are certain vaccines out there that have not finished stage 3 testing yet and are therefore not been allowed into the public realm. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the really fun one now is, what's the name of that thing? What's the name of that thing that people are taking? The horse dewormer, the cattle dewormer that people are taking for COVID. This is how thick people are. This is how thick the anti-vaxxers are, right? They go, why are you taking that? It's for horses to get rid of their worms. Oh, because I want to stick one to the government and to Big Pharma. Yeah, the drug that they're taking is made by Merck, who are, ladies and gentlemen, the fourth biggest fucking pharmaceutical company in the fucking world. So thick they are. Oh my God. It's amazing that these people remember to breathe. They're so stupid. And yet, for whatever fucking reason, and I think Mike Judge had it right in Idiocracy, they seem to outnumber us a little bit. 52 to 48. Okay, so I'm a socialist libertarian, says Duke. Well, we will talk about that in a moment. RC says, it's amazing how that works. It claims to be super capitalist until someone with a brown skin from far away wants to join in on the action. Indeed. I walk dogs for money. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, Roger, it's a job. It's something that's actually pretty hard to do. I was thinking about this today while I was working in the garden. I was up a fucking ladder, right up the top of the house doing the gutters and stuff. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, like, because I'm doing it, it's not a job. Like, people were walking past going, you lazy bastard, get a job. But if I had a high-vis vest on and a hard hat and I was cleaning the fucking gutters, people would be like, oh, good job. That man's got a job. That's you getting paid for that, doing exactly the same thing that you could have done for yourself, but that you don't get paid for it if you do it for yourself. Do it for someone else. So what you can do is swap it around. You do your neighbours comes around and does yours, and then everybody's happy. People get paid. Everyone's got jobs. And don't forget, jobs are always what the right-wing cunts always want you to get excited about, including Hitler. I know, let's go Godwin. Let's go full Godwin and just go, look, Hitler, right? What did he go on about more than anything else? Well, Jews, really, and betrayal of World War One. But also, he went on a lot about jobs. Everyone in Germany would have a job. Everyone would have a job and a car and a home. Everyone. And you see this always with a lot of right-wing dictators. They have this idea in their head that the one thing that sets out the greatest country in the world is full employment. And yet the ways that countries go about achieving full employment are fucking gross. You've got Indira Gandhi over in India in the 1980s, who actually went around, well, not personally went around, but she ordered people to be sterilised, men to be sterilised, which is completely bonkers. But, there you go. So she sterilised men because there weren't enough jobs or something. Too many people, not enough jobs. Jobs are the most important thing. In the Khmer Rouge in the 70s, in Cambodia, they killed like a quarter of the population of Cambodia. They killed people for being teachers. They killed them for being intellectuals. They killed people for being educated. They killed people for wearing glasses because they wanted 100% work. Everyone has to work. Soviet Russia, everyone had to work. They gave people fucking jobs in which they had to dig a hole. And then another group will come along and they'll fill in the fucking hole. Because the most important thing was that people worked. It was a pointless fucking job, but they had to work. And then when you hear the Tory rhetoric, it's always about jobs. Whenever you hear about a coal mine opening or a new nuclear fucking sub being built or something that we really don't need right now, we could do with, green alternatives and things that might not blow up and then make everything radioactive for the next 10,000 years. Thank you very much. They always say, but it creates jobs. It's going to create jobs. It's going to make jobs. Jobs. And it's always the get out. And I say, fuck jobs. Sorry. Not Steve Jobs because he's dead and that'd be wrong. But, let's get that mentality out of our heads, because what people think of as a job isn't always a job. Because if you do it yourself, it's not a job. If you look after your own house, it's not a job. But if you've got a second house, you can go, I'm a landlord. And then you can pay people. You can get money off the government to have people in the house. And that money from the government, which is actually taxpayers' money, goes to pay off the mortgage on your second home. And then you can get a third home, and then you can get a fourth home. And each one, you can put people in there on universal credit. And you can get the money off them each week. You can get their, £125 or whatever it is a week. Take it off them and say, thank you very much. That's your rent. And that money has come from the taxpayer. But it's a job. So, moving on. Okay, Texas becoming like Afghanistan. It is. There's a really good episode of American Dad, which was an okay show. I mean, it wasn't that good. It was a bit of a sub-Family Guy type of thing. But it was, there was a double episode where they went to Saudi Arabia, and the dad in the family absolutely fucking loved Saudi Arabia because it was so horrible. And it was all the things he loved. Like, repressed rights, no one could be gay. Everyone had to, women had to be covered up. No one could look at his wife. All this shit. All the same shit that these Texans who want this. I mean, oh my God, I don't know what it's like in Austin at the moment, but, Austin is this little bastion of liberalness in the middle of this vast desert of conservatism that is Texas. Actually, no, there are some pockets of liberal thinkers, but generally speaking, Texas is quite a red state, although it is getting more blue, which makes me think that this might be an act of desperation by the people in charge of Texas, who might not be in charge for it much longer. But also, it shows just how much damage Trump has done by putting there's only 9 Supreme Court judges. They are appointed for life, and he got to pick 3 people to go on the court, vastly weighing it over to the conservative side, and they refused to rule on the matter. This is to do with the abortion law in Texas, which means that any American can sue any American in a private court of law, in a civil court of law, just saying that they had something to do with facilitating an abortion in Texas after 6 weeks. The point is, most women don't know they're pregnant until after 6 weeks. Actually, I'll say people because trans men can get pregnant as well. Joel and Jolly Fingers. Here in Germany, the first vaccinations for the bracket 18 to 59 is down to 0, sitting at 65.7%. Not all anti-vax, just can't be asked to do it. That's pretty bad, although they are bringing in COVID passports in the UK, and I do agree with this. I've got mine, actually. I've got mine because I need to travel, but I've got a little thing on my phone. I've also got I've got like a little thing there. I won't show it because I don't know, people might photocopy it, but basically it's a printout with a couple of QR codes on it, which will allow me to fly, just to say that I've been vaccinated and gives all the details. If you walk your dog and I walk mine, there is no exchange of money. If you walk each other's dogs, we're both worse off because the government takes 30% in tax from each and gives it to their mates. Yes, Pineapple Boy, and that's why we need universal basic income, because then you could do that. You could just walk your mate's dog. Maybe it shits less. I don't know. But yeah, you could. And you wouldn't feel the need to be paid for it because you think, well, I'm getting money anyway. I've got enough to live. You take out the desperation from the situation. Also, the idea that because lazy people exist, that we shouldn't help people who are in toxic relationships, women who are being beaten and being raped by their partner. We shouldn't help them because lazy people exist. If we had UBI, women would be much more able, in fact, not just women, but any person in an abusive relationship would be in a much stronger position to walk away. Because they know they will always have a roof over their heads. They will know they'll always have food in their belly and food in their children's belly, because that's what universal basic income provides. But people have a knee-jerk reaction. No, it's wrong. We can't let people who don't deserve it have money. Well, I say yes, that's very true. People don't deserve money and yet they have it. So we'll go the full Monty with that, and we will make sure that we abolish private schools, because why do children of rich people get to go to these posh schools? No, wrong. And we make inheritance tax 100%. And we also ban parents from giving their children money. We ban parents from paying their children's mortgages. Not the mortgages, the deposits. You can get a deposit for your home, but it can't come from your parents. You have to work for it. You have to bloody work for it yourself. Someone else can't have worked for it. Your dad or your mum can't have worked for it. You have to work for it yourself. If you want to play that game, if you want to say that if people don't have money, if people want money, they have to work for it, then it's got to be fucking everyone. Okay? It can't just be the people who aren't born rich, because because that's how it is at the moment. And when people like David Frost say things like, you don't get something for nothing, this is a man who got fucking everything for nothing, handed to him on a silver platter by British society. And yet, all he wants to do, like a lot of his cronies, is just kick the ladder away and make sure that no one who didn't go to a private school gets anywhere in this fucking country. They don't let them on TV. They don't let them get on a TV show. They don't let them become a famous actor. They don't let them go into politics. They don't let them become the chief of the Metropolitan Police or the Archbishop of motherfucking Canterbury. Those roles, those jobs are blocked from you if you didn't go to a private school. We've had 5 prime ministers this century. 5 prime ministers, 4 of them went to a private school. And if you think that is fair, then, you're watching the wrong channel. Okay, right, back into the chat here. Universal basic income will never work. Get real, says BMW Nasher. Great argument. Well done. Duke Vengeance. There is one pirate. He's called Black Blodge. Apparently, he owns a massive island called Great Britain or something. I don't know. Kevin says, he's responding to something RC said. Very few of his listeners can afford to take alternative medication he's currently taking. He posted what he's taking on a video. If he was vaccinated, he wouldn't need to take the alternative. Who are you talking about? I'm just RC. Joe Rogan refused to say if he's had the vaccine. That, of course, means he hasn't had it. Well, no, he might have had the vaccine, and he just might be lying about it. But didn't he get it? Didn't he get COVID? Yeah. Chubai says, so Graham is against fascism and communism because they might make him get a proper job. Well, exactly. Exactamundo. And it's a bit unfair that the rest of us have to get proper jobs. Have you noticed this? All the big jobs, all the ones that pay really well, generally speaking, are reserved for people who were born into money in this country. Like 9 times out of 10. I know there are a few that get through, and obviously the BBC will write a lovely article about them. That happens once or twice a year because it's so rare. Because it is newsworthy when someone who was born on a council estate actually gets somewhere in life other than jail. Yorosh says, Graham, the government needs people to be desperate. How will it tell them what to vote otherwise? Yeah, Yorosh. Desperation is... It's bread and butter to these Tory bastards, to the Republicans. Desperate. They want people to be desperate because desperate people make shit decisions. End of. And they also want as many refugees flooding their countries as possible. Refugees are great. Well, actually, no, they don't want like hundreds of thousands of refugees. They just want a handful. People that they can put on the cover of their shitty tabloid newspapers that they own and to say, look, bad people coming from somewhere else because they're desperate. And we look, you feel desperate. Look at these people. They're desperate as well, but they're coming to take what little you have. I bet they get put up in a lovely hotel with 5-star accommodation with room service and everything. You're kidding me, aren't you? It's fucking Home Office. These people, these children fleeing war, first thing they do, take everything off them. Any possessions they have, they get all the possessions taken off them. You got old grandmothers with gold teeth. They fucking pull the gold teeth out. They would, these fucking Tories. We're taking everything. And say, how can you afford a phone? And you're like, we weren't goat farmers, you daft twat. They'd have proper jobs in Afghanistan. They'd have proper jobs in Syria. And proper jobs in Libya. There are people who work as dentists and architects and teachers and sanitation officers. Proper jobs. But we've got this idea in our head that like developing nations, you just herd goats, don't you? That's what you do. Weird way of looking at it. That's not weird, I suppose, if you've never lost your village and all you do all day is sit there chewing on a bit of straw on a stone wall and occasionally laugh so much that you fall off the back of it. Obviously, Risley Lee says, I'm going to Germany next April. I'm going to Damash's concert. It'll be held in Dusseldorf. Tickets have already sold out. Fantastic. Veg Pie. £1.79. That's how I get it to £10. Thank you very much, Veg Pie, for the super chat. I really appreciate it, especially in this final stages of our prep for getting over to Ginger Island. I've got this massive to-do list. It is quite insane, and I'm working through it. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow morning. Should be pleased to know. Jeremy Goff. Hilary Mantel is getting an Irish passport. She's a clever woman who is fecked off with England. Yeah. Is that Hilary Mantel who wrote Wolf Hall? Yeah, indeed. Roger King. I've never had a good job. Best jobs I've ever had were the ones like house sitting and dog walking, using my own hustle. Sadly, people trust me because I'm ex-army. They don't care about my degree. Well, I mean, it's nice that people trust you. But yeah, people don't care about the degrees. The selection process for Oxford or Russell Group University is heavily weighted against the majority of the country. I know. That's why in Durham University, 38% of the intake are privately educated. And Durham University has also been in the news quite a lot over the last couple of years for really fucking terrible things. With like one of the students here getting done for being a massive racist. There's also been lots of allegations of sexual assaults. And when the website, oh God, what was it called? There was a website that was set up where women could share their stories of sexual abuse anonymously online. And so many of those stories were linked to private schools. So basically, if you send your kid to private school, they have a higher chance than if they were sent to public school. It's just a stupid way of calling it, because in the UK, public schools mean a private school. So I always try and say private school just to differentiate. They went to a state school, okay? We're just talking base stats here. A lot less children go to private school. Only 7% of children go to private school. 93% go to state school. When you look at the number of incidences of abuse, and this is not just teachers abusing children, but also children abusing each other, older children abusing younger children, male children abusing male students abusing female students, etc. The proportion of the private schools is way, way higher than it is for a state school. So if you send your kid to a private school, you are increasing the likelihood that they will be sexually abused at some point in their school career. I would never send my children. I don't have kids, but I would never send my children to a private school in this country. It's just too fucking risky. And a point I often make: if your kid is an entitled little shit, and then you send them to private school, they're not going to come out less of an entitled little shit when they come out of the private school. Although they might be a bigger shit, like Lawrence Fox, who went to Harrow. Yovosh. Hello, Yovosh. Thank you for my €10 super chat. I miss Max's cast, so here's something. Anyhow, GN. Got to work early tomorrow. Yay. Darren Christian, £50. Wow, thank you. That's like half a solar panel. Thank you so much, Darren. I really appreciate that. £50. Safe travels. Thank you. Brilliant, Darren. We're going to carve your face into a totem pole for that. Thank you very much. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, wow. Thank you. Really, thank you. Wow. RC says sexual assault allegations in private schools will go nowhere as a privately educated British politician will protect those schools. Yes, they will. But unfortunately, we live in a country where most allegations of sexual abuse end up with no one getting charged or no one going to jail. Only 1%, it's actually less than 1% of all people who are arrested for rape go to jail. Less than 1%. And now rapists in Texas, they have a fucking field day, aren't they? So they can abuse their victim, they can rape their victim, which is the second most horrible thing you can do to a person other than actually fucking murdering them. And then, if they get their victim pregnant, they can then dob them in. It's just horrible. And you know that this law in Texas makes no dispensation for rape victims, for victims of incest. I mean, fucking hell. Wow. Just wow. I mean, how based your morals need to be for you to think that that's acceptable. That's an acceptable state of affairs. You know, a woman who is a young girl, a child who is raped by their own uncle and gets pregnant with their uncle's fucking baby. They want that child to see that baby through to term. A baby that might kill her on the way out. It's just horrible. Margaret Atwood, she wrote Handmaid's Tale in 1985, or she published it in 1985, and it was supposed to be a response to the fact that 1984 had come and gone. And this is what the world might look like in the future if we don't rein in the rampant misogyny, but also stupidity and cruelty, that this blithe cruelty that runs through society like the letters in a stick of Blackpool rock. It's just there. It's just there. And I'll go back to something I said last week. I don't believe that anyone who voted for Brexit or Trump voted that way without the knowledge that it would make certain people's lives more difficult. They didn't think it would make their own lives more difficult necessarily, but they must have known on some level. I don't give a fuck if they were taken in by this £350 million lie on the side of a bus. You know, that's one thing. But they must have known at some level that them voting for Trump or voting for Brexit, for instance, Brexit, I mean, that would negatively impact everyone from the EU living in the UK. And they voted it anyway. And I really can't forgive that. I'm sorry, I'm pretty Old Testament when it comes to things like this. I'm like, well, why should I? Why the fuck should I? I don't see people on the front lines of any of the marches that we had, any of the Remain marchers who, you know, I'd voted, you know, saying they voted for Brexit and they really fucked up, and now they're trying to do everything in their power to make things right, to make amends. There might have been some. I never met them. The vast majority of the people I met voted Remain, and we're absolutely gutted that so many people in this country could be so cruel, to be so just unthinking, careless. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. David says, Graham, I never went private and I have an excellent academic achievement. I got degrees in Spain, UK, and now a degree in marketing and publishing. Good on you, mate. The Spanish education is very difficult. Yeah, and it's also very different, I think. Cash Dummy says, wow, Darren Christian, you are awesome. You are absolutely incredible, Darren. Thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate it. We'll be, I'm not going to be able to do a daily show this week because obviously I'm doing a lot of prep to leave. And yeah, it makes it all worthwhile. Thank you so much. Thank you. David says, yes, tell me about one degree in English culture, literature, another master degree at Teach English at ESL, and QTS degree from UK department, now marketing and publishing, including French language, Roger. Wow, that's really cool. Jeremy Goff, you're trying to rationalise the irrational, Graham Hughes. Well, yeah, maybe I am. Maybe it was just an irrational decision that people made. Maybe the cognitive dissonance is strong in this one. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. When I think about it, it just makes me sad. It makes me sad that I share this planet with so many people who don't want to do good, who don't feel that they should care. There's a great article, I think it was on like Huffington Post, one of them a few years ago. It was the basic headline of it was if I have to tell you why you should care about other people, I can't tell you why you should care about other people. I thought it really put it very well, because it was kind of like, yeah, okay, I get that. I totally get that. It's so hard. If you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can go on about why people should care about society and care about each other, but if they don't, that's it. They just don't. End of. And that's it's a hard thing to take. I've called this video "The Last Days of Home," which was a blog that I started writing last year. I had to abandon it because it was taking. I only did a few entries, but it took me like all day to do an entry, and if I wasn't getting paid for doing it, again, if I was getting UBI, I could just spend a year writing it and it wouldn't have bothered me, because I'd be getting money in to pay for the rent, or pay for the accommodation, pay for the lights, whatever. Yeah, Last Days of Home, and it wasn't just, obviously I've called it that because I'm leaving home soon, but also I called the website that because it was about somebody traveling 30 years in the future around the world and going to all these sites that were now underwater. Or, a bit of them were underwater. You could only get to the Eiffel Tower on a boat. You could only get to, you could only see the top of the Colosseum at low tide. And the idea is that we've just done nothing about climate change, and we'd hit tipping point after tipping point, and we got into these horrific feedback loops, and essentially the world was just getting hotter and hotter, and it just got up to 6 degrees hotter, and the entire ice caps had melted. There was no snow on the Himalayas. There was just no snow anywhere. It all just melted. And it was just the carnage that the world was in at that point, and trying to travel around the world and see these places that are now underwater. I thought would be an interesting travel blog, a fictional travel blog to write. And yeah, I'd like to revisit it. Maybe if Ginger Island does well or something, I will revisit it. But before I do that, I do need to write the second book of the Hughes of the World trilogy. I've got to write Top of the World. Finish it anyway. So thanks to everyone who's chipped in for the writing of Top of the World. I will make good on my promise to write it. It will get finished one day, but at the moment, COVID just absolutely smashed everything in terms of my work-life balance, being able to do filming gigs and then have time to actually write. And yeah, just if I didn't have any filming gigs going on, either in front of or behind the camera, kind of screwed me over a little bit. So yeah, and in lieu of having a proper publisher who can actually give me an advance, I'm gonna have to just put it on the back burner for the moment. Sorry about that. Apologies all around, but it will get done. It will get done. I owe someone a book, actually. Someone's paid for a book. Remind me who that was, because I need to send it this week before I go. I'll send you this one. It's my last one that I've got, but I'll send you that. It might have a tea ring on the top from my cup. Adrian, L33. I think a small percentage do not understand what the benefits of the EU was, and falls to Cameron and the EU for not letting people know what the EU did for the UK. Yeah, L33. That's a really good point. That is a really good point. I think that the EU failed, and that David Cameron failed to explain to people why the EU was so wonderful and necessary. At the same time, I don't think we should have had the referendum. I don't think we should have got that vote. I didn't feel qualified to vote on it. I didn't do enough homework myself. I didn't, with being someone who's been to every country in the world and has a degree in politics, didn't feel like they knew enough about the EU to make an informed decision. That's pretty bad, isn't it? But my point earlier was that they must have known on some level that doing this would fuck some other people over. They must have. I mean, how would you not think that? We're pulling out the EU. We're going to stop people coming from the EU over here. We're going to fuck things up for EU families living here, where the dad's from France or the mum's from Spain or whatever, and make life more difficult for people than it needs to be. We're only here once. Why would you make life more difficult for people? Like, why would you do that? So, and I can only empathise to a certain degree, because at some point I just think, for fuck's sake, really? Really? This is what you want to spend your life doing? Making other people miserable? Why would you do that? Lawrence Fox. Anyway, Pineapple Boy has given a 4.49 super chat. Thank you very much. Top of the World Fund. You can make it happen. Rainy ginger days ahead. Thank you, Pineapple Boy. Pineapple Boy wants me to write the next one so he can read it. But yeah, I will crack on with that probably when I get back from Ginger Island. What I could do is set myself the target of writing it by the end of the year, because I get back and I'll start doing the shows again, I guess, in November. And what I might do is cut down the number of shows that I do, so I'm not doing a show every single day, but also move up the amount of stuff that I do on Discord and things like that. So you can be you watching this, right? You can be the person cracking the whip, right? Because I respond really well to deadlines. If there's a deadline where I have to be somewhere at a certain time, or I have to have something completed for a certain date, a certain time, it always gets done. 100% of the time, it gets done. I respond very well to deadlines, unlike Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, who famously said, I love deadlines, I love the whooshing noise they make as they fly by. But no, I respond very well to deadline. If I'm not given a deadline, like you've got to get 5 chapters done by the end of the week or whatever, I just don't. There's always something else to do. There's always something else that takes priority. So yeah, we'll work on that together if that's okay. I'm not making you do this. This isn't a job. You're not my agent. But yeah, if you could help me with that when I get back from Ginger Island, that would be cool. And yeah, we're gonna have the end of the year, November, December. If Ginger Island is a big success and we get a lot of viewers and we get people who want to get involved as part of the tribe of Ginger Island and want to go and actually visit the place next year, we can we'll be prepping for going back in March next year and actually setting up an eco retreat on the island, doing everything we need to do to set up an eco retreat, and we'll be streaming all that as well. So all this to come, politics, history, current affairs, and tropical island, doing stuff up. One of Catherine's friends popped by today because we had a kid sleepover last night, and she came to pick up her daughter, and she said she's a friend of ours, and she just said, it's because I was sort of complaining a little bit about the way that they've kind of got it set up, that you've got to get this test, but there's like 2 different types of tests, and one of them takes 2 days to get through, but you need to present it when you're crossing a border within 72 hours of taking the test. So it's like, well, I can't wait 2 days, because then by the time I get to the border with Panama, I can't cross over. So obviously I'll have to get the lateral flow test or the antigen test, because you can get that straight away, and they accept that in Costa Rica and Panama, thankfully. So yeah, we're just talking about this, and she says, yeah, I've got a lot less sympathy when you actually step back and think you're complaining about the things you have to do to fly to your private island. I was like, oh yeah, okay. You put it that way. Yeah, it does sound a bit twatty of me. But yeah, it's not quite as glamorous as it sounds. And as you will see when you watch us next week, traveling on Friday, actually. On this Friday, we'll be traveling through Costa Rica. As soon as I get to Costa Rica, I'll be buying a SIM card, so I should be able to broadcast as we travel across Costa Rica on the Saturday. Sorry, we're staying in San Jose on this is me and Marcus. We're flying out on the Friday. It takes about 12 hours to get to San Jose. We'll be broadcasting. Then we'll probably do a little show once we get to San Jose from the airport, if I get a SIM card straight away. And then, yeah, we'll be broadcasting on the bus on the way to Puerto Viejo, where we're hoping to meet up with Pooh and a few of other friends, or a few of my friends who live in Puerto Viejo, including David Hagen, who wrote The Third Live a Bird. If you've ever read that book to your kids, he wrote that. And then we're on the Saturday. Yeah, we'll be traveling over to Panama. I'm getting another SIM card, so I can still keep on broadcasting. We'll be showing you how we get to Bocas del Toro. We'll be showing us going and getting some. We need to get some solar panels, mattresses, wood to build our own beds, mosquito nets, and I know there's no mosquitoes, but there are little bitey insects which aren't mosquitoes. But yeah, it's always good to have them if necessary. It tends to happen that if you go over to somewhere like that, the first couple of days you're there, you get bitten to hell, and then after that, they tend to leave you alone a bit. Don't know why that is, but yeah. So yeah, that will all be broadcast as much as we can on my channel, which you're watching at the moment. So yes, and also just a couple of minutes ago before I came online, I revived at Ginger Island. I have at Ginger Island on Twitter. I haven't used it since 2014. So if you want to follow us on Twitter, go to at Ginger Island. I'm going to try and separate this political stuff from the Ginger Island stuff, because if we get an influx of people who are enjoying watching Marcus and I make tits of ourselves trying to build stuff on an island, they might not want to see me swearing my head off about Brexit for the last, 11 months. Right. Oh, my hell. Banner Cash Dummy. It was an event for all of us, but only a fart came out. What? Patrick McCarthy, £10 super chat. Thank you so much. Great philosophy on Brexit voters' motives. They knew. Yeah, I know. It's tough for me. It's tough for me. I can't really square that, because they must have known. They must have known. I mean, the complete ignorance totally alike. But is that any defence? Is it like, if you hear someone who voted for Brexit say, I didn't know that it would make life harder for the EU citizens living here. Come on, please, really? And if they didn't know, what are they doing voting in the first place? They're obviously dickheads. Why do they think they deserve to vote on this matter? Why do they think it was so important for them to vote if they didn't have the first fucking clue about what the consequences of that vote would be? Yeah. Would the EU have an unruly neighbour back? No, Duke Vengeance, I don't think the UK is ever going to rejoin the EU. I think that Wangland might, or England, Wales might in 10 years' time, but Scotland will, and Northern Ireland will reunify with Ireland in the next 10 years. So, yeah, they'll be back in, and then Labour will run on a platform probably in 2029 at this rate, where they say we're going to take us back into the single market and the customs union. Once that's done, it's Brexit in name only, isn't it? Because we'll be a rule taker, not a rule maker. People will complain about that, and we'll rejoin the EU. So we get a say. Will they take us back? Yes, they will, because we're a wealthy, and I don't sound arrogant and conceited saying that. I don't think much of my country at the moment, but we are a wealthy country, and it makes sense for us to be a member of the EU. It's better for our neighbours for us to be a member of the EU than to not be a member of the EU. It's better for our neighbours to be a part of the gang of Europe than it is for us to forge partnerships with the likes of Russia and China, for instance. Remember, the UK will never rejoin the European Union. This is RC, because soon there won't be a UK to rejoin the European Union. Yes. They voted for Brexit out of racism, selfishness, naivety, or greed. That's literally it. Yeah. Racism was the main driver of Brexit. Brexiteers feel like they're a master race. Yeah. Master race and master bases. Panama Boy says, EU nationals moving home and UK nationals stuck in poverty on Plague Island. Hashtag karma. Indeed. Pooh, I think David Hagen's away at the moment. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come all the way over to bloody Costa Rica to come and see Dave and Catherine, and they're not even bloody there. Interestingly, Dave Hagen and Catherine, his partner, I met them in Wewak in Papua New Guinea, the little town of Wewak in northwest Papua New Guinea. We were the only Westerners in the whole town, because there's only one guest house, and we were all staying at the same guest house. All Scousers and all Blues as well. Strangely enough. Strange the way things turn out. Okay, so I think simple ignorance is more significant than any malicious intent. Impossible to generalize completely, of course. Well, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. I feel bad now because Darren's amazing donation of £50 towards the Ginger Island pot, the gingering around the Ginger Island fund, it's still got a lot of time left on the clock. I feel like I should keep talking until that runs out. Is that how it works? I don't know how. Is this super chats? Do you have to keep talking until the super chats run out, because they've got like a little timer thing, and they go. I don't know. Okay, well, look, wee whack, is that Scottish for what? Scottish for marijuana. Hey, do you want some wee whack? No, the wacky backy. No, it's a town in northwest Papua New Guinea. In fact, it's where I left off my journey at the end of 2010, because just before Christmas, I got word that my sister was ill, and I thought it'd be better to be in. We didn't really know what it was and how bad it was or anything at that time, but also I promised my girlfriend that I'll be back in Australia for Christmas, and the way things were going, I probably wouldn't get back to Australia until midway through January, and by then she probably would have dumped my ass. We did split up in the end, but spoilers. But yeah, so I actually flew back from Wewak. Not back. I flew to Melbourne, where my girlfriend was, and spent a month in Melbourne, and then headed back to the UK to see my sister. So yeah, Wewak was the place that I had to go back to Wewak to start my adventure again a few months after my sister sadly passed away. So yeah, it's a significant place for me, but also it's the place where I met Dave and Catherine. So I hope to bring them onto my show, but we'll see. Adam K, is this super chat just a minute? Graham needs to talk without hesitation, repetition, or deviation until the timer runs out. That would be quite fun, actually. Yeah, but the timer's going down, so I'll tell you what. Since it's still up on my screen, I know you can't see it here, but it's on my screen. I can see the £50 there. I will stay on until that goes out. And then what we'll do is, if you'd like, I can join you on Discord later. If you want to join us on Discord, I do have some chores to do. I need to do the washing up after the roast meal that me and Catherine cooked this evening. God, I've been on the go all day, which was my last roast meal in the UK before I go over to Bocas. Although I think on one of the Sundays, apparently one of the questions we got asked last Friday when we were on Maximilian's chat on his live feed, Marcus and I, we were asked who's going to do the cooking, and we were both like, "Whoa, we both like cooking." So when I was there, I'm not trying to big myself up. I'm not the greatest cook in the world, but my roast dinners and my scouse were kind of legendary on the archipelago. So if I was saying, I'm gonna make a roast dinner, people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Ginger Island for a roast dinner." I know that sounds mad, making a roast dinner on an island in the tropics, but do you know what? One of the best meals I had on my journey, one of the best home cooked meals, was when I got to Sierra Leone and I stayed with some friends from Australia. And I was there on the Friday night, and they made me a roast dinner, and it was the first roast dinner I had in months and months. And I've been in like jail. I've been in jail in Cape Verde between then and getting that roast meal. It was like, even though I'm in the tropics and it's really hot and I'm really sweaty, I'm really, really enjoying this roast chicken gravy and roast potatoes and veg. Whoa. Okay, moving swiftly on. Roast dinners are the best dinners. They are pretty good. They're pretty good. Before you sweat it out from Marcus making frog spawn soup on Ginger Island survival trip, I'm the one you've sent a signed book to. Thanks again. Walter, so sorry, I've got to send the book to you, Walter. Okay, I'll make a note. Hang on, Walter. Sorry, have you said I've already sent you one, or I need to send you one? Because there is someone. I'll look. I can look it up on my emails. It's fine. But Walter Howison book ! Okay. Remember Black Wednesday, and it takes markets to bet against the pound. Well, if the pound starts to tank, I might be tempted to just convert to dollars in my I don't know, PayPal account. Can you do that? Can you have a PayPal account in dollars? I think you can. So I'm just going to go over to Discord. Is anyone there who can make a Discord link, or should I do it? RS Lee says, enjoy your trip and stay safe. Thank you very much. Legendary is ambiguous. Oh, I don't know about that, Richard. It was pretty good. It wasn't okay. Well, no one else was making roast dinners. All right, Americans, I don't think really do it except on Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't think it's a Sunday thing In America, it might be. I don't know. Duke says, but video games are my only talent. Again, that could be a job. Playing video games. Why not? Why not? Imagine going in for, doing your CV and saying, like, you're giving them a high score on Tetris. Say that you scored 131,000 on Tetris once, and I got a little screenshot of it. Or you collected all 889 Pokemon or something. I mean, that's quite impressive. That shows dedication to actually collecting Pokemon or doing whatever you're doing. I mean, it does. Or 100% on GTA. Yep, there you go. Look, or unlocking unlocking all the secret stuff on GoldenEye and the N64. Yeah, doing that level with the bloody library where you have to jump out the window onto the tank. Yeah, that one. In what, 19 seconds? Come on. If you can do that, then you'll probably be good at your job. I'm just saying, because it takes a lot of dedication and patience. And they're things that you need in a worker, I believe. You know what I'm saying? How can we watch the stream? Says 95 Winston. You can watch it here. You can watch it here on Graham Hughes, That Ginger Scouser, youtube.com/That Ginger Scouser. It'll also be going out live on the website, but it will be just a embed from the YouTube. It'll be going out on Twitter, on the Ginger Island Twitter feed. I don't think I'll put it out on my own Twitter feed. I probably should, actually, because my Ginger Island Twitter feed, I've just brought it back from the dead. It's only got 7 followers, whereas my Twitter at every country, it has like 18,000 followers. They're probably all bots, mostly bots. But yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one. That I should really, all things being equal, make a new Ginger Island channel here on YouTube, but there's certain things that you can't do unless you have X many subscribers to start with. One of them is stream from a mobile phone. You can't live stream from a mobile phone on YouTube until you've got 1,000 subscribers. So obviously I've got over 1,000 subscribers, so I can do that. And also I can put merchandise under the video. So I'm gonna have some Ginger Island merchandise for people, so they can get like a Ginger Island t-shirt or Ginger Island mug or something like that if they want to. Adam, or finding a rubber chicken with a pulley in it. Hey! And I want to be a mighty pirate. Secret of Ginger Island. Indeed. Where did I put Monkey Island? I had it the other day, didn't I? I got it out to show everyone. Yeah, still in the box. Original. This is the 4th installment of Monkey Island. Although I did buy them all. But yeah, that's Escape from Monkey Island. Shiver me timbers and poke me other eye if it isn't Guybrush Threepwood's next big adventure. Now in scurvy-inducing 3D. Love it. Oh, man. That. Grim Fandango. The Dig. That was pretty good. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Day of the Tentacle. Maniac Mansion. Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. Just fucking great games. Bloody hell. LucasArts. Well, it was Lucasfilm Games, and then it became LucasArts. And they also made X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and they did Jedi Knight, which was the sequel to Dark Forces. Dark Forces was all right, but Jedi Knight was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's just a great run of games. And really reached the pinnacle with Grim Fandango, which, if you've never played it, watch the movie Coco or Book of Life, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's basically what it is. So anyway, yes, I have a link for you. I'm going to make a link for you to head over to the Rejoin EU Discord server if you'd like to join me over there. Desert Island Discord. Okay. Ben's inverted my Desert Island Discord. Thanks, Pineapple Boy. Because it should be white on black. It should actually. Oh. There we go. Right, that's the Discord link if you want to join me on Discord. Okay, so the £50 has run out. So if anyone else wants to put more money in the meter, I'll keep talking. But otherwise, I'm gonna head off. Can't do a show tomorrow because I'm actually working on a project that I've got to get finished before I leave. So I will be back on Tuesday. However, Marcus and Maximilian are doing something together on Tuesday night. They're doing Sir Ron Vardy or Vady or whatever his name is. Maximilian is going to be Sir Ron, and Marcus is going to be grilling him about the situation with Brexit. I might drop in as a little guest appearance, but I should see you either on that stream or I might do something after they're finished. So look out for whatever happens on Tuesday. I will let you know. I'll try and leave a message on Twitter. So if you follow me at Every Country, I'll tell you what I'm doing on Tuesday night, but I'll try and appear in some form or other. Until then, the LucasArts adventure games were the best. They were fantastic. Absolutely bloody brilliant. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was fantastic. It was just so good. And it just kind of, even now, you just think back like, that was great. And compared with the actual movie they made, the fourth movie, it was just awful. It was just bad in every possible way. Those fucking monkeys. The more the pound tanks, the less attractive it will be. For every pound released into the market by quantitative easing, printing, the less the rest is worth. Okay, a little simplistic, but I think the point stands. Indeed. Jeremy Goff said deadline washing up by 10:30. All right. So look, I'm gonna do the washing up. God, I live such a glamorous life. I'm gonna clear up. And then I'll pop onto the Discord, probably about half an hour or something. But if you want to amuse yourselves until then, you're very welcome to do so. And if Jeremy's got a quiz for everyone, that would be great. But yes, until then. Also, Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. Yes, they made the game of that, which was really good as well. And Sam and Max hit the road. That was bloody brilliant. Monkey Island 2, Curse of Monkey Island, Secret Monkey Island. Escape from Monkey Island. All good. And then Tim Schafer, was it, who worked on Monkey Island and Full Throttle. He went on to make Psychonauts, which is one of the best and most underrated video games of all time. And apparently, Psychonauts 2 is coming out. Also, excitingly tonight, American time, is going to be the finale of this season of Rick and Morty, apparently, and they're doing a two-parter, I think, and they're both being broadcast tonight, I think, and there's a chance that Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future might be in it, because they've done this sort of 10-second promo of Christopher Lloyd as Rick from Rick and Morty coming out of a real life portal. So yeah, all very exciting. Okay, so I'll see you next time. I'll see you on Tuesday, okay? And until then, thanks for watching. And if you don't want to head over to the Discord server, I'll just say thank you for watching. Thanks for your comments. Thanks so much for the super chats. Thanks to all my patrons and my YouTube members. You make this You make this channel happen, and if it wasn't for you, I couldn't be going to Ginger. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't have the money. So thank you so much for watching, for supporting this channel, and for allowing me and Marcus and Max and Phil and everybody else who's making these videos do what we do. Because we sure as shit aren't getting money off George Soros, unfortunately. God, I'll bite his bloody hand off. Okay, so until next time, thanks for watching. And I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.